can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh Lord, I've been waiting for this moment for all my life. Oh Lord, can you feel it coming in the air tonight? Oh Lord, oh Lord. Well, if you told me you were drowning, I would not lend a hand. I've seen your face before, my friend, but I don't know if you know who I am. Well, I was there and I saw what you did. I saw it with my own two eyes. So you couldn't wipe off that grin. I know where you've been. It's all been a pack of lies. And I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh Lord, well, I've been waiting for this moment for all my life. Oh Lord, I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh Lord, well, I've been waiting for this moment for all my life. Oh Lord, oh Lord. Well, I remember, don't worry. How could I ever forget? It's the first time, the last time we ever met. But I know the reason why you keep your silence up. No, you don't fool me. The hurt doesn't show, but the pain still grows. Some strangers to you and me. I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh Lord, well, I've been waiting for this moment for all my life. Oh Lord, I can feel it in the air tonight. Oh Lord, oh Lord. Well, I've been waiting for this moment for all my life. Oh Lord, I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh Lord, well, I've been waiting for this moment for all my life. Oh Lord, I can feel it in the air tonight. Oh Lord, oh Lord, well, I've been waiting for this moment all my life. Oh Lord,
the dick. That's a sex machine to all the chicks. You damn right.
Hey, welcome everybody. Move my camera a little bit. Hey, this is the J Black Mamba. I'm back live on Election Day Special. I've been missing you guys for the past 3 weeks on Sunday night Eastern, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I need to take a break. Need to take a little break out of here. I'm going to adjust my camera down a little bit. I think that's a little better. So I hope y'all been good. Hope y'all been great. Hey, this is a big night. A very, very big night in the states of Virginia, states of New York City, New Jersey, and a couple other ones, but those are the major cities that we keep an eye on. So we're going to piggyback. I may have a couple of guests tonight, just depends on what they're doing. But it's good to see you guys. It's good to be back here. So we're going to tune in to Bannon. We're going to tune into the war room for a minute and check and see what Bannon is talking about. Tonight, election night. I'm following Fox News. I'm following a few of them, but I always like to check out Steve Bannon and listen to what Bannon is talking about. So we're gonna pop in on Bannon for a minute and listen at my man Steve Bannon. Check out, see what's going on. It's election night. Hold on, I'm gonna get in here in a minute.
The Dick Cheney ads, anti-Trump ads. The Republican establishment hates Trump. Mm-hmm. They've had no engagement in Trump in any of these elections. He wasn't engaged in New Jersey. He's not engaged in the Commonwealth of Virginia. He's not engaged in New York City. He's not engaged in California. Why? It's always the same mantra. Trump. They use Trump to get to draw voters, to build momentum. Well, they've got momentum. They use Trump anyway. So you might as well get him out and get engaged. He just won the greatest political comeback in American history. If President Trump had been engaged on this from the beginning, particularly in California, I think it'd be a very different outcome. Yeah. But you could get blown out by 10, 20 points in California tonight. That thing could be over the moment the polls close. Across the board.
Four of the important ones.
I mean, see, but here's why that is. That's because the establishment, they want to lose. The establishment wants to give you the facade that you have a choice and that they're fighting on your behalf and that they're fighting for you. But like Steve Bannon said, they didn't even bring Trump in to try to rally, because, they want those states and those places to remain blue so they can have some campaign, right? Some campaign issues to campaign on. And in the state of Virginia tonight, one of the main things, I think they had a tele-rally there last night. And he mentioned Jason Miyares, I think it's for Miyares, but Trump didn't even mention, he didn't even mention Winsome Sears, who's running for governor, right? He didn't even mention her, but I blame Winsome for that. If she loses and, they didn't use Trump to come in for her, it's pretty much her own fault because she went away from MAGA. Okay, she went totally away from MAGA, and so she pretty much burned her bridge right there with Trump because Trump, he will hold a grudge now. You can ask some people that crossed him a little bit, at least if you're not really significant to him, I guess, right? And Winsome, I don't know if they wanted to win Virginia, to be honest. He had Spamberger that brought in all of these heavy hitters, if you want to call them heavy hitters. She brought in Obama and, people like that. But, they didn't even bring in Trump at all to Virginia for Winsome Sears. And this is a big state. So we're going to see what happens. I predict she's going to get blown out, but, we never know. But I am predicting a blowout there. And, but let's check out and see what Steve was talking about.
I think right now, if the SNAP program was all the illegal aliens were off it, all the deadbeats were off it, all the scam artists were off it. If we got actually even a mini audit right now, and people that
but I am watching over on news. They're saying that the VA race is too early to call. The polls just closed at 7 p.m. and that's actually a good thing for Winsome, to be honest. That's actually a very good thing. If it's too close to call and the polls just closed, then that's a good thing for Winsome. And now polls do not close until 8 p.m., I think, in New Jersey and New York. So, but we're waiting. Let's go over to Fox News. Let's see what they are talking about over on Fox News.
Hey, Laura, good evening to you. A lot, actually, we can take away from what we're learning through these polls. The big question was, what impact did the texting scandal with Jay Jones have on the races there? We asked what best describes voters' opinions of those leaked Jay Jones texts calling for violence against political rivals and children. 45% of voters said they found it disqualifying. Laura, what we can report at this hour is that among those that found those texts disqualifying, 9% still cast their vote for Jay Jones in that race, 88% for his opponent. Now, as far as some of the other questions we had heading into this, would there be ticket splitters in the race for governor and the attorney general? Well, here's what we're learning so far. If you were an Abigail Spanberger voter, what we're seeing so far is that 86% of those Spanberger voters cast their vote for Jay Jones here, just 9% for Mayares. To your point about the issues in Virginia, we know transgender issues have been big for a long time. So we asked voters, do you support transgender rights? Has transgender rights in Virginia gone too far? Laura, more than half said this issue has gone too far in that state, 52%. I'll finish up with the federal cuts. We know there's a lot of federal workers in Virginia. So we asked, did the federal cuts affect your family's finances? How big of a part will this play in these races there? Well, it was about 6 in 10 voters said that it affected them a lot or a little. So keep that in mind as we continue to watch those results roll in tonight. Laura, back to you.
Sandra, thank you very much. It's fascinating. And coming up, the first results, again, coming in from those Virginia races. Our election coverage continues. Coming up.
And this is truly the first time. I can't believe I'm doing this, right? This is truly the first time that I've actually tuned in to Fox News since 2020.
in the big talk mainstream media has not done any.
Since 2020. I have not watched Fox News since 2020. That was the first time. It actually felt kind of weird to me because I know Fox News is a bunch of bullshit as well. So, but here we are. Here we are on election night, Tuesday, waiting on results out of Virginia. And you guys know the Jay Jones scandal. He was talking about the senator, the speaker of the House in the state of Virginia, the speaker, said he can get 2 bullets in his head and his children. This guy, man. And this guy is running for attorney general, but people will still vote for him. I don't understand that. I don't understand that. But we'll see. Let's check out Steve.
We're in the war room. Let's go ahead and let her rip.
Number of voters that we're seeing at the 2 polling places we visited today here in the South Bay area. This is an off-year election. There's only one thing on the ballot, but we're seeing substantially more people than I expected. Here at this polling place, for example, we've seen lines of 20 to 30 people off and on throughout the day. So it'll be really interesting to see the turnout numbers at the end of the day. And what we're hearing from people, really, it's mostly Democratic voters for whom the messaging from Newsom and the rest of the Democratic Party has very much landed. They're saying that they're here to counteract Republican gerrymandering efforts in Texas and other places, and they're happy for the opportunity to kind of respond to that as aggressively as Newsom and others have been positioning this. Also, some dissenters, I will say, not just Republicans, but independents. I'll play you a sample of the interviews we've been doing, one with a Democrat and the other an independent. Take a listen.
Texas is doing something, and then that's going to have a negative impact, I feel, right, on what's going on. And we have to do something in response to what they're trying to do.
Do you think 2 wrongs equal a right? There's reasons why we need to.
Okay, so they're talking about Prop 50 out in California. That's a lost state anyway. California is so lost. It's a shame, But and they're saying that the governorship in New Jersey, that may be a toss up. I know Scott Pressler's been working his ass off out there in New Jersey, and I know they said machines were malfunctioning early this morning. So really don't know, but we don't have elections as long as they're machines, right? As long as there are machines, we're gonna have problems. We're gonna have problems. We just need to go back to paper ballots. Just count the ballots at the end of the night in every precinct. It's not that many. You guys got counters. You can do live stream counting. You can, whatever you need to do to make it fair, to make it all fair. But, these machines, man, really need to get away from that. So, hey, Lisa, I see you. Yeah, we're doing that. So, what do you think, Lisa? How are you tonight? Thanks for tuning in to the Radical Republicans live show on election night. There's a couple of big things, but the big races are the mayor's race in New York City. Is New York City going to actually elect a communist? Where are we? Where are we in this country to where one of the biggest cities, the biggest states, I guess, and where the biggest cities in the country, New York City, may elect, and probably from what I'm hearing, a communist mayor in the city. Where are we in this country? But I warned people. I've been warning people for years. I ran on it in my 2020 campaign and my 2022 campaign for Congress. I ran on it. We have a communist problem. We have a communist problem, and then you see it on the War Room. We have a communist problem here in the United States. And tonight can be a big move for communism. People say socialism, Marxism. That dude is a communist, full grown communist. That's what he is. That's exactly what it is. So, like I said, thank y'all for tuning in. I see y'all on Getter and see you all on YouTube and whatnot. But thank y'all for tuning in. I appreciate it because the Chiefs mess is open. Hey, shout out to TBB if he's listening. I know he's still recovering from heart surgery. So if TBB, if you're listening, hope you're doing well. I know we've been communicating a little bit on X and everything. So hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. So got about another 40 minutes till the polls close in New York City. Mandani. They don't even talk about Sliwa. Sliwa is still in the race, y'all. Why don't y'all talk about Sliwa? Curtis Sliwa. I think Curtis Sliwa is probably the best candidate. And so what do you get? You get the two choices you have that they pretty much gave you guys in New York City: a communist and a, what do you call Cuomo? What is Cuomo? I know he's a Democrat, but I believe the Democrats is a communist party as well. They're probably just not extreme as the far left communists like Mandani. So Fox News is on a break over there right now. But I guess we'll be getting some results in here in a little bit from Virginia, whose polls closed at 7 p.m. over there in Virginia. There's Winsome Sears and who's that? Reed, the candidate for lieutenant governor. There's the commie Spanberger. Spanberger, the commie. She's a communist. She's a crazy lady, man. People voting for her actually have to be totally off their rocker. But you have the NAACP, who is a communist front who's a front for the Communist Party, the NAACP, the Advancement of Color People voting for the white lady. Make it make sense, man. Let's listen to Steve.
Saying, hey, there could be a hope for in Commonwealth if you have a strong turnout in Southwest Virginia. Well, Southwest and Central Virginia, Donald Trump dominates. Unbelievable. I think you may have a shot in New Jersey. That's what Cliff Maloney's telling us. If you have a continued massive turnout between now and the time the polls close at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. So if you're in the Garden State, get the hell out, get some folks with you, and vote. Short commercial break. Back in the War Room in a moment.
There it is. Go vote. Get out and vote, man. They say New Jersey might be in play. How about that? New Jersey in play for the governorship out there. So a little interesting night. You know, it's slow at the moment, but we got a little interesting night for election night. Prop 50 out in California. And for you know, let's check out for the people that may live in California, and I'm in Idaho. I'm watching our Idaho races too, you know. But the California Prop 50 is also known as the Election Rigging Response Act, right? So it's a proposed constitutional amendment to the California Constitution that would allow the state to adopt new congressional district maps drawn by the legislature for the elections for 26 to 30. So that's Gavin Newsom's thing out there to redraw the congressional maps out in California. That's his response to Texas, redrawing the maps. So, but out there, they have to at least vote on it, right? So we'll see how that's going to go out there. And we're also looking at Idaho. We have a couple of election things out here in Idaho as well. Rather, we have a mayor's race out here, and a couple other things, but not really much on the ballot, to be honest. Okay, not really much on the ballot today, except the mayor's race and whatnot. But other than that, got a proposition in the county that I live in. You know, we got different propositions in different counties and stuff like that. But I'm trying to check out the election results for Idaho till I go back. Let's go. Got some Georgia results going on. I guess you got a few. Got a few. Got commercials all over the place. I should do a commercial, right? But I'm not sponsored today. This is an impromptu. Actually, this is what we're doing here. CNN. Let's check out some CNN. I don't even watch CNN. I'm watching all this other stuff, election 2025 stuff. I got the key races. Here you go. I'm going to share this with you guys. Nah. I'm going to share this. So we got, like I say, it's pretty close right now. With 5% of the votes in. We got Spamberger up by a few, 53 to 46 over Winsome. Of course, New Jersey governor's race is not done yet because they're not finished out there. We got Proposition 50 out here. Of course, in California, we got a couple more hours out there. So Texas, Prop 15, of course, is not over yet. So we got Lieutenant Governor. That's a big thing out there, and Jason Ramirez is winning so far, 5% in. But we had the Lieutenant Governor's race out there, so it may split. You know, they may end up splitting out there. Pennsylvania Supreme Court, that's a big one as well too. But they may split in Virginia. You might get a one party governor and another party lieutenant governor and another in a different party as the attorney general. I mean, which could happen, because You know, and that would probably be best case scenario. Best case scenario in Virginia would be that um, Jason Miyares wins that race. Reed wins lieutenant governor, and so Corey Bowman, that's Cincinnati. So you know, Hashmi and Reed, that's that's the thing out there. So hoping John Reed will actually pull that out, and in the race for the Virginia lieutenant governor. So I guess those are the big races right now. You got Supreme Court races. You got Texas House 18 special race, Virginia lieutenant governor, and then you got the attorney general. Okay, ballot measures. You got the main question, which I don't know what it is. I didn't look up all this stuff. You know, the mayor races. You got Pittsburgh Mayor Tony Moreno's out there running. All right. You got Mandami and what we got? It's Mandami and Sliwa actually is what they have, but it's really, I guess, against Cuomo. You got the guy in Minneapolis, right? You got these two Democrats to see who who's gonna face off. Here you got Fate, and then you got New Jersey, Detroit Mayor out here, supposedly nonpartisan. You got Corey Bowman and Buffalo Mayor. And so there we are. There we are. We only got 2 governors' races out there. So we keep tabs on that. And let's get back on with Steve.
Struck the World Trade Center, killing all those folks about their daily business, basically doing what American citizens do to drive forward the country during their jobs. And of course, the firemen and the police officers that died in the line of duty doing their jobs. And what's the reward you get? How long is the memory? Remember all those speeches every year on September 11th? They'll be remembered forever. Well, hey, they're being forgotten today. They may be remembered forever, but they're going to skip 4 November in the year of our Lord 2025. So he's ready to go. President Trump is, for better or for worse, he is one of the most extraordinary leaders this country's ever had. He saved us from the Clintons and the Bushes in the managed decline of this country. And it's been pushed harder since they stole the 2020 election from him, because they had to force him out. You've gone beyond the managed decline to a complete and total collapse of the country. This is what divine providence allowed us to see in the 4 years in the wilderness. Do you remember those years? And I just think that the strongest MAGA voices in the folks, and when I say strongest MAGA voices, I don't mean me or some of the people that come on here, Mike Davis or others. I mean you. You have not been listened to. That we want President Trump engaged, and we don't want to hear from the Republican Party. What you're going to see tonight is the Republican Party outside of Trump. Now, the great Cliff Maloney tells me we may have a shot in New Jersey. If we have a shot, the polls are open to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the Garden State. Cliff, what do you got for us?
Yeah, Steve, here's the update. So we've obviously been tracking to see what turnout will look like on Election Day. Like I said this morning on your show, we were able to eat in on the vote by mail. We had a 5% jump on the early voting, but it's all going to come down to today. And the good news for Jack is the more Election Day votes that occur today, he is going to win Election Day handedly. So we need to run up the numbers. Right now, my prediction is this. If 3 million people end up voting in total, we will lose this race. If roughly 3.1, we're at least in play. If we get north of 3.2 million total votes in the entirety of this general election, Jack Ciattarelli will be the next governor. I'm not saying we're there, but I'm saying that we are on the cusp of being competitive. And we still have, like I said this morning, As of 10 a.m. this morning, 57,000 Republicans who have a mail-in ballot that need to get it to a drop box or need to take it to their county office. But outside of that, Steve, if we can get all of these Republicans to turn out, the after-dinner rush, the after-work, this is the time. 3.2 million, if we can reach that, there's a shot that Jack Ciattarelli will be the next governor of New Jersey. But that is, we've got 2.5 hours left. This is it. And so if people are sitting there, every member of the War Room Posse, anyone you know in New Jersey, this is the time to call them, to double down, to really ask them to do you a favor, not just for...
I'm like, I love Cliff, man. Cliff, he helped me with my campaign. But see, here's the problem. People don't vote in midterms or these off year elections because a lot of times they don't know about it, and a lot of times, I mean, you need to engage. You need to be aware of when elections are in your town, in your city, in your state. You need to be aware of that. And a lot of people, they only vote in presidential elections. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. They don't vote in midterm elections where the midterms are the most important because that's when the houses flip, right? Every 2 years, you need to be out there voting, and I understand, people are pissed off because we keep getting these candidates that, I don't want to hold my nose and keep voting. I get that. I understand it 100%. 100%. I don't want to keep holding my nose and voting for candidates that they give us, right? Candidates that they give us. So it's like, what do you do? But you got to go vote. If you, and we understand the Uniparty is alive and well. The Uniparty is alive and well, and I'm actually working on something that I'm considering. And once I get finished working on it, and I talk about it with family or speak about it with other people and see what the outcome may be, I may have an announcement another day. I'll do it on the show live, though. I will do it on the show live. We'll have something special for you. Something special. All right, let's go back to Cliff. I actually like this guy, man. Cliff is. They knocked on 1 million doors. 1 million doors in his team in New Jersey.
The number in 2021, my staff is telling me might be 2.6. I'll check this out afterwards. 2.6 or almost 2.7. So you're asking for a significant. But you're saying you hit.
I'll confirm that for you. That is right. That is right. Good.
So you anticipate 600,000, an increase of 600,000 votes in an off-year election? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, this Decision Desk, as much as I don't follow them too often, yeah, they're putting out right now, they're projecting about 3.1 to 3.15 is where we're going to be. So yes, you are correct. The number total was roughly 2.6 mil. But like I said, this isn't me predicting this out of thin air. This is looking at the counties that we currently see coming in, and their turnout numbers compared to 2021 show that you're going to have a significant increase.
That's amazing. The issues driving this right now, still affordability, electrical, taxes, all that?
Yeah, of course. Electric bills are the #1 issue. These Democrats have run New Jersey into the ground. Obviously, crime is a major issue. Siding with illegal immigrants over American citizens. It's all the America First talking points, right? It's all the things that we ran on in 2024. And it's still the same response from the left. Double down on being insane, double down on being crazy, double down on woke, and call Donald Trump Adolf Hitler. That's their whole message. It's a huge opening for us. Steve, this is the only reason New Jersey's in play, because the left is so stupid they cannot come up with a plan. And Jack Ciattarelli is presenting real solutions, a real plan, real leadership. It's the only reason New Jersey's in play.
They're tied to illegal aliens, and they're tied to the visa scams. If they don't do that, they don't have a party. They know that. That's why they're getting increasingly violent. Cliff, one more time, where do people go to find you on social media? What's the website? We're going to be dipping in and out of your live stream, and we'll have you on as polls start to close in Jersey.
On X at Maloney, going to give constant updates, and njchase.com. You can follow the program. Appreciate you, Steve.
Appreciate you, man. You're doing the hard work. Once again, Cliff Maloney and the team at the tip of the spear. Remember, what, a year ago? I guess a year ago tomorrow, right? Unbelievable. Okay, in New Jersey, you heard Ride to the Sound of the Guns. You got till 8 o'clock. If you're MAGA or Trump supporter.
Oh, there you go. So, you know, like I say, tonight's gonna be a little interesting. I'm checking out my results. I'm checking. So ballot measures here in Idaho. That's what I'm looking at right now. Looking at some different things in Idaho. Kane County Ambulance District to establish a temporary override levy. What was? Oh, wait a minute. Hold up. Oh, that was in May. Hold on. Sorry. Let's go back. I'm not sharing this with you guys. I'm just looking at it actually for myself. Here we go. Oh, polls doesn't close until 8 p.m. here. That's what it is. So they're still open here, and in Idaho as well. I thought they closed at 7. But they close at 8 p.m. out here in Idaho. Got another 20 minutes, 2 hours actually. Got about 2 hours out here before they close, so we're good. All right, let's pop in. Spamberger is widening her lead with 21% in. It's about 16 points right now, to be honest. I'm not even though it's just going to be close. They're going to be calling that a little bit, I think, probably. They'll end up calling that. But, I mean, but it is what it is, man. I mean, you know, people still love Trump. And if you don't bring in Trump to help you, you know, if you don't bring in Trump to help you, you know, it is what it is. Okay, you running for mayor. His boys. I'm texting someone to see if they want to come on the show later. They might have a visit. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna probably send this invite to someone. That's what I'm gonna do. Hold up. You guys know I produce my own show, guys. There are people that watch my show, right? I mean, this isn't my regular show. This is election night special, so you know, don't freak out because I'm doing other stuff. I do other stuff anyway because I I do my own show. I produce my own show, and so and I'm trying to get some people to come on in Virginia, you know, that I know and stuff like that. So let's go back to Steve while I do this for a second. Let Steve talk.
Pennsylvania into the new Ohio, and New Jersey into the new Pennsylvania. We'll have to see. I mean, they're talking huge numbers. You talk 3.1 million, which I think is 500,000. I'll get that number in a second. 500,000 over a couple of years ago, 4 years ago. That's mind-boggling. I want to play the mom, Donnie. We're going to go to the Commonwealth of Virginia in just a moment, but I want to play Mom Donnie one more time. Can we play that clip?
Incredibly concerning. And I think that it is an illustration of the attacks we're seeing on our democracy. Sometimes they're blatant and explicit in the manner of these bomb threats, and we have to understand this as part of the general approach the Trump administration has taken to trying to intimidate
Always
voters.
blame Trump.
with
Hold on, man. First of all,
baseless allegations of voter fraud as a means of trying to repress the voice of Americans across this country.
Baseless allegations of voter fraud. Baseless allegations of voter fraud. You hear that? It's going to start already. And wait till he wins tonight. Wait till he wins tonight. You're going to have your nose rubbed in it. Told you this back when he won in the primary in what, July? In July? It's coming. You add that to Newsom. I saw a number earlier talking about a 20-point victory in California because they did not engage Trump. RNC didn't get involved. Trump didn't get involved. I can't tell you how important California is, this redistricting. It's also what they're doing. I agree with President Trump. President Trump put it out today on Truth Social. Feels illegal and unconstitutional, but I take it's going to take somebody from the Justice Department, Harmeet Dillon or somebody. Let's get on with it. How about dropping a suit tomorrow? And let's just roll. We have no doubt. What happens when we roll hard? When President Trump rolls hard, what happens? Good things, right? When he's talked to moderate, what happens? Middle of the road things. Trump is best when you're getting the pure version of it. Have I talked to you about Trump 2028 yet? Later for that.
Steve is killing people with that, man. He's talking Trump 2028. And people are freaking out, losing their minds, man. They won't be at Trump 2028. But he's throwing it out there to make these Democrats just lose their head, lose their mind. I know he's talking about the 22nd Amendment is attackable, but, nah, it's not going to happen, Steve. You're my dog, but nah, it's not going to happen. See what's happening here. Hold on.
So it's a packed room in terms of the media anticipation for her arrival and for this watch party, and she will need a lot of people to show up today, as we discussed, Steve, because early voter turnout has been the highest in Virginia since in any other non-presidential election year. Obviously, there's a huge turnout when we have presidential elections. Last year, Virginia was the fourth highest voter turnout, always a possible red or blue state. Governor Glenn Youngkin has been wildly popular here, but for some reason that number, his high approval ratings of 50% and above, have not translated to early predictions for Winsome Earl Sears. So with 1.4 million votes being cast in early voting, 300,000 more than the last gubernatorial election, you have to wonder which of these women will become the first female governor in the state of Virginia.
They are it's a guy named Hines, I think it is. I go to his site quite a bit. He's got the best predictive model for looking at all of it, and I think I would say he's a Republican, if not a MAGA.
And I'm going to say, still, what you say, 1.4 million? Did you say early voters? That's a lot. 300,000 more. That's a lot. And this early voting thing, I believe this hurts too. Give us a voting holiday. Give everyone one day to vote. One day. Just one day. We don't need all of this 2 weeks. I think it's 40 days or 45 days or something early voting in Virginia. It's so ripe for fraud, man. So ripe for fraud. We got 23% in Virginia, and Winsome is down by like 13 points. I'm looking at these other races. This lieutenant governor race is starting to spread out a little bit. Got 8 points. Hashmi, she's a communist. Jay Jones and Jason Miyares. Jason Miyares is, he's the only hope. I think that's within 3 points. But the Democrats may run the ticket. They may run the ticket. 12 points in the governor's race in Virginia right now. It's going to be interesting to watch when New York closes. How soon, if that's going to go on into the night or what. I think these other races, these other things will be called pretty soon. I'm not going to be on to California. California is California. They're going to vote I believe they're going to vote for the redistricting, of course. You got a lot of communists out there in California as well, so. But let's pop into Virginia here.
Sears by name, but there's been a bit of a disconnect in the history with governors in Virginia, just sort of stepping aside. So I wouldn't look too much into that, but it for sure is heated. And I think also you have to keep in mind, Steve, the 100 delegates that are also open seats, 100 open seats in Virginia. So we need to see how many of those go red as well. I will be keeping a tab on that.
Well, I think the House of Delegates is already, one seat for the Democrats. They're thinking about closing that or flipping it, but they could lose as many as 3 or 4 more seats. In the Commonwealth also, John Fredericks had, the audience will remember, last cycle in 2001, Fredericks came up with the strategy of we carpet bomb, because Trump wasn't going to get involved because Youngkin's not a Trump guy. And Youngkin didn't want him involved. It wasn't like President Trump said, I'm not going to do it. It wasn't invited. But Fredericks had this theory, of which he's tried to play out here the last couple of weeks, of go down to Southwest Virginia and Central Virginia, which is basically Trump country, and perform at presidential year numbers. And I think, John, we came in, and the war room was very engaged back then. I think it was 85% of turnout, which tipped it for Youngkin. This time it's been basically nothing. In fact, last night, correct me if I'm wrong, Britt McHenry, I believe when President Trump did the teletown hall, I'm not sure he ever mentioned, and Sears has been a never Trumper for a while. I don't think he ever mentioned her name by name. He talked about the gubernatorial candidate, but he did not. So right there, you're kind of going against a headwind, are you not, ma'am?
Absolutely, and you nailed it. Glenn Youngkin is looking at his own possible presidential run as well, so not MAGA, not on board, and that very likely was why there wasn't a name call out, which for where she was standing in the polls going into tonight was needed. I mean, that would have been icing on the cake, let's face it, to have the president endorsing you by name. That did not happen. So we'll see how close it is. But a lot of, I can just tell you from being in this area, not just reporting here, a huge fascination with this governor election. And that showed in the early votes. And of course, we'll keep you posted on anything else we hear. But the attorney general one is very controversial.
Well, Slotkin.
I mean, and I was telling people that today about Winsome, in that teller rally where Trump didn't even mention her name, but she cut her own throat, and I told people that she pretty much cut her own throat when she won the lieutenant governor's race, and then she went full-blown anti-MAGA, and we put her in that race, right? I was still living there. We put her in the lieutenant governorship. They won because of MAGA. Youngkin won because of MAGA, and then they went full-blown, even though he tried not to, and Trump still endorsed him. But this time, she went full anti-MAGA, and I'm like, that's going to come back to haunt you if you run for governor. MAGA is not going to forget that, right? MAGA is not going to forget that. So, if you're I'll let you check out some of these results. But if you're looking at running for governor and then you go straight anti-MAGA, you're gonna have a hard road. And I guess it'd be, there's some results from CNN stuff, you can see those as they cross the screen, but you're gonna have a hard road, unfortunately, my good friend Bob Good lost his congressional seat, and Bob Good was like 100%, conservative voting record. He was the caucus, right, leader in DC, and and they took him out, with Trump's help, to be honest. It's because he, Bob Good endorsed and went with, the governor of Florida, DeSantis, over Trump, and Trump didn't forget it. And Trump helped this guy, man, the guy that he helped win over Bob Good is straight rhino, straight Israel supporter, man, and but that's what happens, man. I mean, it is what it is, but if you wanted to win this race, I think Winsome Sears should have went and made up, maybe. Maybe she thought she could do it without Trump, because they actually thought, to be honest, they actually thought that they because Youngkin didn't bring in Trump, even though Trump endorsed him. Youngkin didn't bring in Trump when he won the governor race in 2021. And so I guess she thought, that she could do it alone. But they didn't figure on it was MAGA. It wasn't Trump. It was MAGA that actually went out and voted for them, to win that race. So but let's check out what Julie Kelly is saying on
and briefs,
Steve.
filing fast and furious. Jim Comey last month filed a motion to dismiss based.
Okay, they're talking about the criminal Jim Comey and all of these criminals that have not been put in jail yet. Put in jail yet for what they did. It's just unbelievable. Totally unbelievable. So I'm back. I'm looking at all of Virginia's results right now, and these statewide races and these House races, because all of the entire House seats are up in Virginia. So some of them have been. It's hard getting back in here now, but all of them are. Boom! It's like statewide. Let's try this. VPAP is not working too well. I guess I should have just stayed in instead of trying to refresh the screen. It's definitely not loading up, but it is what it is. Something went wrong. Yeah, it's just down right now. But it's trying to reboot back up. I guess there's a lot of people in there. So the server crashed. The server crashed. We still got that going on. I don't want to hear about Judy. Okay, so they called it for spam burger. I'm looking at the CNN. Looking at the CNN, I believe they called it for spam burger here already. So I figured they was gonna call that really, really soon. Steve will probably be on this in a minute, but there you are. If you live in Virginia, they have called the race for spam burger. Hold on one second. Yeah. Yeah, so it looked like they called it for spam burger. Hold on, let me put this on pause. Looking at the election desk at CNN anyway, looks like they called it for spam burger. With 33% of the vote in. Projected winner spam burger with 33% of the vote. So the other ones have not been called yet in Virginia. You got the lieutenant governor race. That's starting to stretch out a little bit. And you got and that's a tight race for AG though. It's a very, very tight race for AG right now, 50-49 with 33% of the vote in Virginia. But Abigail, the commie Spanberger, will be the next governor of the state of Virginia. Let me I'm just texting some people in Virginia. And there it is. But I knew that though. I mean, I was telling people earlier. Guys wanted to know, hey, Winsome, man, she's gonna get dusted. Gonna get dusted. Yeah. So anyway, let me hit this back. Let's see if one of these guys aren't back yet. Okay, here we are. Nope. Still got commercial break over there on ESPN, but anyway, so I view this. Here you are, right here. There it is, right there. You had Spamberger as the winner. Yeah, delegates are. Yep, we got the delegates races going on. So, and they say they may end up flipping seats there. I hear you, Lisa. So it looks like the delegate seats are statewide. I can't load the site up anymore, man. I guess their site crashed. VPAP. Looking at the vpap.org site, and hopefully it'll get back in a second. But yeah, it won't load. So hopefully I get back. Okay, there it is. It had crashed for a minute, I think. So let's look at the House races here over there for you. What district do you live in, Lisa? Let me check out Steve real quick. Hold on.
9898.
He's talking
Get
about
the ultimate
Birch
guide
Gold. I
for
thought he was
investing in
talking.
gold
He's
and
got. He
precious
has to
metals
say it.
in the age
I know
of
he's
Trump.
watching.
That gives you all the methodologies, 401ks, IRAs, tax deferred, all the complexity there. Birch Gold makes it simple to understand about how to own physical gold. If you want to know the process, what's driving the value of gold, and why you hit some turbulence.
Hey, we've been talking about gold for a minute on my show, definitely. But hey Lisa, what district do you live in? I know we got some delegates. One of my friends, he actually called me.
I don't know. Mark's jihadist.
Hold on.
Trying to become mayor of New York City. Shouldn't be. Check his naturalization papers. Not so sure he's a legitimate legal citizen. But that won't stop this progressive Marxist crowd in New York City. Julie Kelly, Boasberg, you got so much going on. And by the way, Julie, I did get a copy of the book Injustice from you, from the Washington Post team, that I'm going to send to your home for you to read. You will have a laugh a page, ma'am, as they have the long faces over the collapse of the Merrick Garland, Jack Smith. But the inside details are unbelievable, and your reporting is dead spot on. So I got that for you. Hit the highlight reel. We got a couple minutes left, ma'am.
So thank you for that. I actually bought the book.
All right. Let me see if Fox News is calling it. Yeah, they called it. Here's Fox. Here we go.
Republicans said she wasn't a moderate. She voted with Nancy Pelosi almost all the time, and but she will become the next Virginia governor.
But this race for AG, where the guy says that he wanted to kill Republican kids,
34%
we can't
in.
call that yet. Are you surprised that we haven't been able to call that yet? I mean, most people that I know would say, heck no with a guy like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a percentage of Virginia voters who said that they found those comments concerning, but not disqualifying. And we saw that Spamberger really tried to just sort of sidestep this whole issue. She was pressed upon to say that he should drop out of the race. I mean, it really, really lowers the bar for what is required. I mean, think about the fact that Joe Biden once dropped out of a presidential race because there was some plagiarism in a speech that he gave. But this guy says that, this family should be killed, and that the children are fascists and they should be killed too. But the bar for all these things has changed
And the guy
dramatically.
with the Nazi tattoo hasn't dropped out.
The
bar is so low now. You can basically do anything and stay in the race.
She was asked about 4 times in that debate, will you pull your endorsement? She didn't. And it was the easiest, one would think, layup to, in a political race, say, yes, I pull my endorsement. It's time to move on. But she was, it was like an albatross around her neck for the rest of that race, and that's why it was so close in the end. She is going to pull this out in a decent majority, margin rather, and Democrats are going to feel good about this. I think they have less to feel good about in New Jersey, which looks like it's tightening.
All right, so it's tight in New Jersey. This is a state that Harris, I think, beat Donald Trump by about 6 points. He didn't spend any money there. And this guy, Chitterelli, had done well last time against the incumbent, Bill Murphy. It's too close to call. What does that tell you?
Well, this is the third time that Jack Ciattarelli has run for governor. The first time he didn't make it through the primary. The second time, as you pointed out, he came within 3 points of Phil Murphy. Nobody has held the same party governorship in New Jersey since 1961, which would indicate, the historical trend is that it's time for it to flip to the GOP this time around. We've certainly had a number of Republican governors in New Jersey, but this is very close. And Cheryl, also weathered a bit of a storm when it came to the cheating scandal at Annapolis. Ciattarelli really tried to hang that on her in a negative light. Whether or not it stuck, we don't know yet.
And the insider trading allegations, too.
Absolutely, yeah.
Wasn't very graceful in wiggling out of those. What are your people in New Jersey telling us, Martha?
Our people in New Jersey. I do sort of, I go running around town. I see where the signs are. It is interesting in areas that are, sort of working class neighborhoods in New Jersey. You have seen a lot of Ciattarelli signs. It has felt that he had the momentum, but whether or not, the New Jersey machine will prevail tonight, that's what we're about to find out.
And we had Barack Obama had to fly in all the way from Hawaii to save both of these women.
That's right. He went to Virginia and to New Jersey. He did not go to New York City.
But he did make a phone call.
He did make a phone call, said he was really, touching on important issues, but didn't do an official endorsement. I think, obviously, the big race that has sucked up all the oxygen is the mayor's race here in New York City. And that could maybe have an effect in New Jersey because people in New Jersey look at New York City and say what happens there could mean something for us.
Do you really think that if Mondami wins, that it could have repercussions in New Jersey, Martha? You know New Jersey better than any of us.
Well, it looks like the polls have closed. 8 p.m. there, so yeah. That's a wrap there in Virginia. I knew that was going to go pretty fast, though. Unfortunately, it was going to go fast. But like I said, I'm just piggybacking on these election results. They like to talk, and War Room Steve's on a commercial. Well, where am I at? Actually, let's go live. Check this out.
The ground, the A team is here at the America First warehouse. We'll get to them all.
We'll go back. I think I lost Steve for a second.
$50.
We didn't see one
Didn't
single
see
sign.
one,
Not
and
one.
even in
Share the war
Republican
room with
areas
you.
didn't see that. But no, we had a lot of people came up and they were so kind. Even Democrat voters and independents came up to me and they thanked me for talking about issues of.
If you guys don't know who that is, of course everyone knows who that is, right? MTG, she's on the hot seat because she's talking about Israel and how the GOP, they need to do something with Obamacare, which they should have done a long time ago. They've had the votes to do it, at least in the House.
Under Joe Biden in 2022, we saw inflation hit 9%. Worse, it was the worst inflation since Jimmy Carter. Please don't blame me because I'm from Georgia, but that was a real problem. But that's what drove the cost of living. And in California, they feel it bad. I think the gas price was $4.69.
That was on the cheap side.
That was on the cheap side.
Over $5 for sure. And property taxes. If you talk about property taxes, insane.
insane in California.
I don't know how they do it.
I don't know how they live. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I moved out.
And really, to jump on what you guys were saying about California, I mean, Damon's been saying this since we joined the show, is that California has been our biggest audience by far
The number
for this
one
show.
the number one
so we
viewing
know they're out
audience
there.
of this show for a long time when we were on social media back in 2015, 16, 17, 18, the number one viewing audience of this show was California. And we saw it. We all remember 2016, 2020. Even people here on Long Island, they go, oh, you're in New York when you're moving out. I go, no, we're in Long Island. We're in Suffolk County. This is not New York City. It is a big difference. We got no place to go. We're quite comfortable here. This is Trump country in Suffolk County. This is not New York City. So I want to get to Kevin Downey Jr. Speaking of Patriots, we are here live at the America First Warehouse, and Kevin Downey Jr. is here, and he has a very familiar face, Patriot, that most of you out there in Real America's Voice World. Kevin, who you got?
Thank you, Damon. We've got the one and only Brandon Strzok with us tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
All right. So anyway, that's something going on with the vote for it. I thought that was Bannon from earlier, but that may have been Bannon's show. But they're doing the Fox News thing. All right, so here we go. We're going to flip over a little bit. Here we go. But this is actually a little late. Here.
County, way down here, you think about Tom's River, you think about all the Jewish groups who a week ago said they will endorse Jack Ciattarelli, the Republican. First time really in memory that had happened in that part of New Jersey. Here's what we have here. Not quite half the vote reporting. Ciattarelli with a comfortable 27-point lead there, all right? So how does that stack up? What's the sense of relativity? Martha mentioned it. He's run for governor 3 times, but the first time he ran, he lost in the primary. So it's the second time now he's been on the ballot. 4 years ago, Ciattarelli really stunned the country with so he won Ocean County by 36 points, all right? Let me go ahead and put a marker on that just so our viewers remember that, okay? So that was his final margin in this particular county. Right now, he's checking in at 26. So you could either expect that number to go higher, or if you're within Ciattarelli's campaign, you want that number to go higher in Ocean County. A lot of Republicans live down there. You got Bayhead. You talk to Dana about Bayhead later. She get the whole rundown, like on the bookstore, the library, all this stuff, okay? Like where you need to go, Jesse, during the summer down there in New Jersey. Tell you one of the reasons why. Let me pop out here to the presidential level, because this is where we were 12 months ago, okay, right? Trump beating Harris. One of the reasons why Republicans felt good about Virginia and they felt good about New Jersey, and maybe even things break their way to a degree here in New York City, is because the trend they believe has been their friend for some time. You go back to 2020, compare it to 2024, and the election in New Jersey for just last year, okay? Kamala Harris won the state. Now, New Jersey is a blue state. Yeah, they've had Republican governors. Chris Christie's one. Christie Todd Whitman prior to that. That was some time ago, okay? You go back 5 years ago in New Jersey, Biden won the state easily over Trump by 16 points. But 4 years later, all right, here we go yet again. Trump against Harris. He cut the margin by 10 points, losing it by 5.9 on the dot there during that presidential year. Let me pop out here, bring it back to modern day. And the governor's race in New Jersey. Hang on, Jesse. Okay, here we go. That's the margin you see in Virginia, right? Year after year, Trump lost by 10 points, but then he lost by 5. In New Jersey, he lost by 16, but then he lost by 6. New York, a similar story, lost by 23 points in 2020, lost by slightly less than 13 points in 2024. So that is the trend, as they say on Wall Street. And if the trend is your friend, they felt like, this pretty good night could come their way, all right? So where are we now? You're at 16% of the vote count in, too close to call. Let me bop around here a little bit and show you. Let me go here, Jesse. Hang with me. We're going to do this, okay? I want our viewers at home to think about 2 things, northern New Jersey and southern New Jersey. And the reason why that's important is because Trump flipped 5 counties, all right, from his election in 2020 to his election campaign in 2024. I'll put it in. Let me go ahead and clear that off. So here's 2020, all right, against Joe Biden. You see what we're doing here? All blue, all blue. You take this off and go to 2024, and it's pretty obvious. There's a pretty clear split now between the blue team in 2020 and then the Republicans come in 2024. And hang with me. I'll pop this up one more time while we got the time. Boom. Okay. So here we go. It's still blue in the Northeast across the river from New York. Down here, more blue. I mean, this Gloucester County is one of those counties that Trump flipped. You got about 20% reporting, and Mikey Sherrill has an easy lead. I would not expect that margin to hold up, but we'll watch it throughout the night as the returns roll in here. All right, this is Camden County. It's across the river from Philadelphia. You got about half the vote reporting right now. Mikey Sherrill has an easy 50-point advantage there. So how does that match up with Chitterelli when he tried to win against Phil Murphy, the Democrat, 4 years ago? Watch the number in black here, 49.7. The end total was 24.4. Now, Chitterelli's campaign felt really good about what they were doing in the Garden State. They liked the way they were running things, but they had one problem 4 years ago. You had about 250,000 registered Republicans who stayed home. Why did they stay home? Many believe that a lot of the polling suggested that Chitterelli did not have a chance. Well, he shocked a lot of people, you know, losing by 3.2 points 4 years ago, Jesse. So that's where we got. I'll just bounce around here. Burlington County, you got half the vote reporting in. Sherrill with a...
I don't know. I just look like Chitterelli is going to get his butt kicked. I mean, to me, you know that. I mean, and this Mickey Sherrill, man, she's. I mean, we have all these commies on the Democrat side running. You know, like straight communists, man. So, I mean, you know, so Virginia's done. As far as the governor's race, you know, that's the big one. I'm looking at. We'll go over here, and of course, no votes are in for New York yet. They may close at 9. Oh man, but Pittsburgh mayor, Pittsburgh is over. I mean, these people, they just, you find all these cities. Andre Dickens won down in Atlanta. In nonpartisan race, he blew out whoever that is. He got 86% of the vote down there. Hampshire is still winning John Reed, and it still is a close race. Jay Jones and Jason Miyares for Attorney General in Virginia. I know they say the Chitterelli thing is going to close, is going to start to close. So let's listen. Sorry, I probably had you guys all over the place.
Or declaration of victory yet for from the Spanberger folks, or if there has been a call or discussion between the two candidates, or if and when we're going to hear from Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl-Sears. All is not lost yet, though, for the Republican ticket. We are still watching to see what happens in that Attorney General race. Typically, it's not a race that you have much attention to when you're covering these gubernatorial races, but it was those violent texts from Jay Jones back in 2022. They came up last month, upended the whole race, put all the Democrats in the state in a tough position to come out with some type of response to it. Spanberger had said, don't like the text, but we can't call on Jay Jones to drop out of the race. So we'll see if Spanberger has won by a margin here as to whether or not she can bring Jay Jones over the finish line, or if Republican incumbent Jason Miyares is going to hang on to his seat. He's been telling people throughout the day, hey guys, split your ticket. Go ahead, vote for Spanberger, but vote for Miyares too. Or if you're going to vote for Spanberger, vote for Miyares too. Jesse?
All right, Rich, thank you.
And that's Miyares, though. He's all about himself. He's definitely all about himself, man. When he won that Attorney General seat, he's running against a friend of mine, Chuck Smith, and Jones winning. Somebody said Jones is winning, which is crazy. But Democrats are crazy. Talking about Jay Jones in Virginia. That's what we're talking about. Jay Jones in Virginia, and women see more men voted for Winston Sears because they know, man, the women, these, when you see this, right? These white liberal women
I'll show you
are
this. We know the
crazy. Hold on.
federal workers
Just
in
go with you.
Virginia, we are watching closely, affected by those federal cuts. Well, for those who said when they cast their vote that they were a federal employee, worried about those cuts, obviously, they cast their vote
They
for
know there's no,
Spanberger by a
of
pretty
course. Well, that's what they do.
overwhelming
That's Northern
margin. Really
Virginia.
starts to paint the picture,
That's
Jesse,
Northern
as to how
Virginia.
Spanberger pulled
So
off victory there.
it's
All
not
right,
really
thank you
how.
so
I
much,
mean,
Sandy.
those federal
So
workers
results are
normally
rolling in
vote
from New
Democrat
Jersey,
anyway.
and polls in New York City
know?
are about to close. Straight ahead.
I mean, to be honest, they they vote Democrat anyway. Those federal workers, so it's not a big deal. Let's check out. I'm sorry, I was looking at something here. I'll just show you this. If you're looking at for different ones, of course, the California stuff. Minnesota don't close for about another hour. I think Minnesota closes at 9 o'clock at their time. So we got the Texas House special. Doesn't matter. It's two Democrats down there. Look like Hampshire is spreading her lead over John Reed. I think they'll call that in a minute. This one's going to be close. I think this will make it onto the wire. Jay Jones and Jason Miyares. It's going to go down to the wire. I mean, when you talk about Virginia, man, Virginia is screwed. And let's say we can check out some of the House delegate races. Yeah, one Republican decided. Who is that? Let's see who. Oh, what race is? Let's go all races. Let's check them all out. Let's check out all the counties. And these, I mean, this is a House race in Virginia. I mean, if you're in Virginia, here, let me do this. Here, I'm going to share this tab. Okay, so if you're in Virginia, so we're looking at the House races now in Virginia. Is what we're looking. That's what we're looking at. I mean, and the Democrats, I mean, they held the House. Is what happened there. So, yeah, somebody just texted me, Virginia is doomed. But the House race here, all the seats are up, but the Democrats controlled the House. I mean, there's already 15 Democrats that that's decided or whatever. So you got 84 that's undecided. So you still got the races. So you're going through. I'm not sure what district y'all live in. So if you're watching from Virginia, you got these House district seats, and it doesn't look good. Let's just say it doesn't look good, right? It doesn't look good for the Republicans. I mean, from every seat, look like right now. Of course, that's already decided. The Republicans are down, man. They say Republicans may lose like 5 more seats. We're talking about Fairfax County, of course. That's our Democrat up there. That's Northern Virginia. For you guys that don't know, Fairfax County is normally is controlled by the Democrats. Pretty much everything up north. Fairfax County is a win. Prince William, at least they got guys running. Prince William County. Hey, I think she's the incumbent. Lovejoy over here. She's this Guzman chick is putting some pressure on her. They didn't even run. A Republican didn't. They didn't even run in this seat. I mean, they know, man. They don't even waste their time and run, which is pretty sad. Which is pretty sad. You should at least put up an opponent or something in these districts, man. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So we got some incumbents here on the Republican ticket. Rishin and Doa, yeah, those Republican seats. But I'm looking down. I'm looking at coming down towards like Virginia Beach. I'm not gonna. Smythe, Southwest He'll go. So I know a bunch of these people. That's why I'm just looking at the names. Looking at the names in Martinsville. That's good. HD 50 coming down. Charlottesville. I mean, Charlottesville used to be Republican, man. They not, and it's bad. They don't even run in Charlottesville. They don't even run a Republican anymore. In Charlottesville, only 4,000 votes, man. They don't even run a Republican. That's pretty sad. It's pretty sad, man. It's crazy. But I mean, but this is what they do, man. You know, this is what they do. Look like the Republicans, they're gonna hold on to a bunch of their seats. Somebody told me about Orcock and Nicole over here. It's close. Let me get back to my thing because I gotta answer somebody. It's very close. So show Lisa that. This is the one that Lisa was talking about on the chat on the show. Is this Bobby Orcock race? And she's a Nazi, or not a Nazi, a communist. Let's say that. Say she's a straight commie. So hopefully 12,075 early. And this is where they get you to in Virginia. They don't count these early votes until last. You know, they say 12,000 early votes left. They don't count those until last. So you could be winning. You know, there was a race, I think a couple of years ago, whatever. Somebody was winning, man. They threw them early votes in there, man, and it just flipped everything. It just totally flipped everything. Southside, VA. Oh, James City, Williamsburg. Well, I think Amanda Batten will still pull that out, though. I think she'll still pull that out. Maybe Mike Cherry, he's fine. Early, man, these guys, man, they getting some battles. 19 of 19. See, this is okay. So like this, right? In this Western Chesterfield, right? It's House District 73. So they got 19 of 19 precincts reporting. You got Mark Early winning, right now. But look at how many early votes they got. 25,622 to count. Unbelievable. See, this is why this early voting shit has to go, man. You know, I mean, they could cheat. They can throw these ballots, man. However, man, I mean, dude, if you can't come out on voting day, you just don't deserve the vote. You know, if you're sick and infirm, yeah, you can do the absentee ballot if you request it. You know, but man, just coming out, just going in, got 45 days to vote is ridiculous. Petersburg, I guess they did there. I guess they don't have any more early votes. They must have counted theirs. Watchmen, that's gonna be close there. Suffolk, and Darius Clark. Isle of Wight, man, I used to be a Republican stronghold. You know, Newport News, Hampton, York, Pocosin. AC Cardoza, this is one of my dudes here, man. He look like he might be in a battle. He might be in a battle there. Don Scott. Nobody ever runs against this dude, man. This guy is like the biggest criminal. The biggest criminal. Chesapeake, Suffolk, Chesapeake. Jay Leftwich. I don't know, man. He's a Republican, kinda. Cliff Hayes, that flipped. Whew, man, what a destruction there. Jackie Glass, yeah, nobody runs against her. Andy Pittman. Virginia Beach, Kelly Fowler. She's a freaking commie. 0 of 18%. She's a commie. This is the race I was looking at, though. I was looking at this House District 97 race. Barry Knight should run that away. Eastern Shore, Bloxham. Bloxham. I think he should be fine, though. Looking at that. Farrell should be fine in her district. She should be good. But I know Tim was in a tough district. He was running against this guy. He was going to be in a tough district. So, but we'll see how that pans out here in a little bit. But I'm not going to stay on here too long. I've actually been on here a little bit. I was I was gonna bring my dude on when he got out to where he wanted to go, but I was gonna bring him on the show. We could talk about Virginia a little bit. But here, let's check this out.
I think Republicans, MAGA in particular, we need to learn to start doing that. And if we are unwilling to do it, then we're going to keep losing elections. But the biggest thing is we have to give a reason for people to vote for us. Right. And that is why I, again, will say it is pathetic and disrespectful that we are not working in Washington right now. Congress, we are not working in Washington, and so we're sending a message to voters everywhere like Republicans are giving you nothing to vote for. As a matter of fact, they gave all the federal employees in Virginia so many days off, it's not even funny, so they could go in and vote for these people. And I'll blame my own party. I'll blame all of my colleagues. I'll blame Speaker Johnson for that. And so I'll take some blame on myself, but I'll also push back to everybody else is we can't shoot within our own tent. Yeah. We got to get it together and fight the Democrats. Yeah.
Well, the race has been called for Jay Jones.
Oh,
Decision
Lord.
Desk HQ has called the race
Jay
for Jay
Jones.
Jones, the Democrat Attorney General in Virginia. 51.2 to 48.8 with about 55% reporting. That race has now been called. We're going to New Jersey, I believe, now. Let me bring Mike Crispy back in. Audience members from New Jersey. Kevin Downey Jr. You have an audience member from New Jersey. Kevin Downey Jr., who do you got?
I do. Thanks, Big D. We got Patriot James with here. Let's hear for Patriot James, folks. And Patriot James.
You know, that's kind of huge. So Jay Jones, the guy that put out that tweet, right? You guys can watch this. Jay Jones that put out the tweet. Can I go down to Spotsylvania? Hold on, I'm gonna go back and do this for Lisa. Lisa asked me, can I go back to Spotsylvania? So I'm gonna do this. Okay, Lisa wants me to go down. That's my FVA done, Spotsylvania. Okay, I'm gonna go down. I'm gonna go back to this House race. I think for her, she went. Shit. Yeah. Okay. Let's go down. We're gonna go down to Spotsylvania for her. Let's see. I'm gonna try to get all of these. Hold on. Results. Featured. Let's do all. Okay. Let's try to find Spotsylvania for you, Lisa. We're gonna go down and check this out and see. Hold on. Oh, thank you, babe. Thank you, my wife. He just brought me dinner. That's good. What's wrong? Huh? Oh, she said she brought me hers. So let me see where we are. Spotsylvania. I'm trying to get there. Okay, this one, Caroline. Oh yeah. Okay, so that's Bobby Orwick. Yeah, he's holding on barely. He's definitely holding on barely. It's gonna be a close race. It's gonna be close. It'll probably go down for a minute. So Spotsylvania right there for you is oops. I'm live on the election night special. Thank you. So yeah, that's a close race right there. It's a very close race. Bigly, as they would say. Bigly. See y'all in the getter chat. What's happening over there? But so that's happening in Virginia, Spotsylvania. Lisa wanted me to go down to Spotsylvania and check it out. So that's a tight race. I'm gonna go look at a local race though. One of my guys said his buddy is running for mayor. I think mayor of Culpeper. Let's look at something. Let's see if we can bring this up. Culpeper mayor's race. Let's check this out. Board of Supervisors, Jefferson, school board, town mayor. I think, I don't know what's the dude's name. So we got the local there. Let's look at Virginia Beach stuff for a minute. I mean, and the only reason I say because I used to live in Virginia Beach, so you know I'm still wanting to know who's doing things over there. I mean, Stolley, Commonwealth's attorney, of course. You know the Stolleys, they run everything. Holcomb, of course, he was going to win that. This is the boy Lee Henderson, Philip J. Kellum, Commissioner of Revenue. I mean, nobody runs against him. They wrote in somebody, but he wins every. I mean, he's been there for like 20-something years or 30 years or something. Charter change referendum. Oh, that's going to be huge. So those are the local races. There for Virginia Beach. I thought there was a mayor's race in Virginia Beach, but probably not. But you know, back to the statewide. Looked like they called this race for Hash Me won. Jay Jones, they called the race, so it's over. The Democrats swept. They called the race for Jay Jones. The Democrats swept, and then they're gonna run the House. Then they're gonna run the House too. But the Democrats look like they swept Virginia, and Virginia's pretty much gone back blue. Pretty much gone back blue again. Well, there you go. That's what happens when you when you don't call out your forces, man. You know, and they didn't call out their forces there in Virginia. You know, and forces. I mean, they thought that they could win without Trump. And Trump, he didn't put in a word for you. He didn't put in. So Corey O'Connor won Pittsburgh. So we're looking at the mayor's race in New York now. That's probably the biggest race that's left. To be honest, I don't see anything else big on the board. Virginia was the biggest, and all of those guys, they Virginia's in trouble, man. Virginia's in trouble, man. It's in trouble. That's all I can say. Wow. So there you go. There you go. Let's go back to the war room for a second. Let's
I can bury Obama all day long, and McCain or Kerry or any one of these interchangeable swamp creatures. I can't say one thing about a policy in Israel without everyone looking at me like, but I don't hate anybody. I'm a Christian too.
Right.
I've surrendered my life to Christ 2 years ago, and I've never been happier. And I don't hate anyone.
Right, no.
And it's unfair that a conversation can't even be had.
I know.
And now and that's what's killing MAGA, because if someone says one thing about a policy they don't like, they are immediately ostracized. Look at Tucker Carlson, who has done so much for the Republican Party.
We've done a kind of a deep dive on these influencer political activist accounts, and I'm not going to name them right now because I don't want to elevate their status. But they are paid to push out an agenda and attack people or promote people in Congress, the Senate, or even public figures. When someone's posting 70 to 90 times a day, they are paid. I don't care if it's from AIPAC or some other organization. They are getting paid. They are not doing this for fun. So they're going to act like it's all organic and hate Marjorie Taylor Greene because she spoke out against this or spoke out against that. It's all a bunch of crap. And they're paid to do it, and it should be disclaimer that they're paid to promote this. And we did, and like I said, I'm not going to name accounts, but we did a little bit of investigation, and there are some awful things going on to make you completely brainwashed to hate people like Marjorie and hate other
or Tucker Carlson
or Tucker Carlson or anybody else that just has a different way of thinking and wants to get away from the neocon and the establishment of the Republican Party.
And now we have Mark Levin saying that neocon is a pejorative. Think about control.
You should name names. You know, I know he said, I'm not going to name accounts. No, name accounts, man. This is how you hold these people accountable, right? Name accounts, name names, put them on blast. They're putting you on blast. You know, they're putting you on blast. So put them back on blast. This is what, you know, this is the weak need shit. This is the weak stuff that goes on in the Republican Party. Well, I'm not going to name accounts. I'm not going to name names. Why not? Why not? Name them all, man. Name them all.
The question is not whether one can criticize Israel. Isn't it more the question of whether open anti-Semitism and racism are acceptable in conservative politics?
Oh, I'm completely against hate of all kinds. I am.
Same here.
But I'll tell you this, it's my duty to protect free speech. It is my duty, even speech I don't like and disagree with. I think free speech it's our First Amendment for a reason. And that's where real dialogue comes from, and I think it's important to be able to hear someone's speech because that tells you a lot about them, right? If we're hearing someone being hateful about someone's identity or who they are, then we learn about them as a person. If we're debating ideas, like you said, if we're talking about our right to criticize a foreign government or a foreign government's action or how our tax dollars are being spent, then that's okay.
Let's get to, I got to get to Mark Serrano in Virginia. Obviously, we've had, I guess the race has all been called, and obviously the Attorney General race as well. Mark, tell us what we need to know.
You know, Damon, this is not a pretty picture in Virginia. Winsome Sears, it appears, has lost by a whopping 10% in this race against Abigail Spanberger. Interestingly, in the Attorney General's race, Jason Miyares has come in just 1 point below his competitor, Jay Jones. 1%. Guess what was one of the big differences between these two candidates? Jason Miyares received an endorsement from Donald Trump that he sought out. That's the difference when Donald Trump is a factor in this race. Don't you think, Britt?
Absolutely. Some star power, support behind your name. Still shocked that result is what it is with Jay Jones, given what you all discussed on set, his texts that were very graphic and detailed. But we can say I spoke to representatives here. Winsome Earl Sears is here. They said they will have a rundown of the show soon, when I assume she will concede this race, but we're still waiting for that. So she is in the building. And just a complete blue ticket in Virginia. And we thought it might be different. I don't know about you.
Yeah, and you know, Damon, the other thing is Britt and I are standing in Loudoun County, Virginia right now. This is ground zero for the parents' rights movements. Parents' rights and transgenderism was probably the top issue for Winsome Sears in this campaign. This county, the ground zero for parents' rights, went for Jay Jones and Abigail Spanberger. That's what a weak candidate Winsome Sears was, because she treated Donald Trump like a communicable disease. Candidates across America, I'm telling you right now, don't do what Winsome Sears did here in Virginia. Embrace MAGA, embrace America first, because Donald Trump's coalition from 2024 gave us the winning formula for a future in America.
And it's interesting to note, this is a little bit of a random factoid or a big one, no matter how you look at it, or if you will. Jay Jones, with those texts, I know you guys might feast on this right now, did better than Kamala Harris in Loudoun County. He actually had more voter turnout, more votes than Kamala in the presidential election last year. So wrap your mind around that one and the violence that he espoused. He did better than last year's presidential candidate for the Democrats in Loudoun.
Well, the difference is that he said it. He said it. That's the difference. The voters and the party, let's face it, most of them agree with him. They just won't say it. They'll think it. They agree with the sentiment. They think that sentiment is okay if it achieves the end of power. So, and I don't know how anybody in Virginia could be ultimately surprised tonight. There was not a public poll in 2025 that has ever had Winsome Sears in the lead. Trump took the White House, and the GOP in Virginia gave up on the governor's election, is I think the way to frame it. But Mark, I'll give you the final word here.
David, look, I got to say, I got to say, we have to lay this at the feet of Glenn Youngkin. This is his chosen nominee for the Republican Party. Winsome Sears, he basically pre-wired the nomination for her. He had an excellent candidate in Jason Miyares, who he could have selected instead, and he blew it. A 10-point blowout is on Glenn Youngkin tonight.
All right, very good. Bryn McHenry and Mark Serrano in Virginia following the trifecta down there as the Democrats win all, the Attorney General, obviously the governorship, and the Lieutenant Governor race in Virginia. We'll get back to them. But let's get over to Slick Rick in the Slick Lounge tonight. He's got another great member of the...
All right, so anyway, so you see that, and I said it was going to be about 10 points. John Russell, Lisa, I'm sorry, you said John Russell. Susan said she was up in here. Yeah, Cole was losing, right? Yeah, Cole was losing. Here, I can go back to there. Let's rehash this and see. Tim Anderson's losing. Let's go back to your Spotsylvania. Let's check again for you. Yeah, it's close though. I mean, very, very close. What, like 50 votes or something like that, Lisa? So yeah, Cole is losing, but it's very close. It's within the margin of error where they right now would definitely have a recount, though. They definitely would have a recount. And Susan said she was up in here. Susan, I didn't see you for some reason. I don't know why your message didn't come through. Maybe you were on the other Rumble, but the other Rumble should have came through too. But I just used this one now, so maybe I should have opened up the other Rumble, but I did not. So I just got the volume down on that. But Winsome Sears, she got blew out. Jason Miyares got lost, and that was the thing too. That was, what they were talking about. It was they were going to decide. See, and this is, and here's where the Republican Party sucks ass. And when I was running for Congress, 2021, 2020, 2022, I told them this. I said, you guys can't be weak-kneed. You can't be scared to be called a racist, right? I said it from the beginning. Winsome Sears would not win this race because she's a weak candidate. And they used her to get Glenn Youngkin across the finish line in 2021. She won the lieutenant governor's race, and they needed her to help get Glenn Youngkin over, so they used her. They didn't even come in for, and I told everybody this, and people, kept talking and telling me that, I'm being too hard on her, or blah blah. I'm like, no, I just understand the game, right? I just understand the game. I'm gonna go here from. I just understand the game of the politics in Virginia because I lived it. I lived there for 20 years. I understood it. The establishment. You saw Trump didn't come in, and Trump may not have come in for a couple of reasons. One, because of what Winsome did after she won, and two, the RNC probably told him don't. He was on a tele rally last night, mentioned Jason Miyares, but didn't mention Winsome Sears. Why would you do that if you want to win the state of Virginia? But they didn't want that because they didn't want her to win. You can put this at the feet of Winsome Sears. You can put this at the feet of Glenn Youngkin. You can put this at the feet of the RNC. The RNC, and I'm going to say this, and people may not believe it, and you may. The RNC, they may as well be the NAACP and voted for the white woman. They didn't want Winsome to win because she's black. I said it. Boom. Hello. I said it. They didn't want her. They did not want her. Glenn Youngkin chose her because he has presidential aspirations in 2028. He chose her to try to capture the black vote. He didn't want to seem racist and choose Jason Miyares or choose someone else to run for governor. He never wanted Winsome. Winsome was a means to the ends for him. And this is what I was trying to tell Winsome. This is what I was trying to tell Winsome. They used you to get Glenn Youngkin over the finish line. They used you. And you see by the blowout, and you see the RNC didn't come in, Trump didn't come in. They didn't do anything. They didn't bring in nobody from Winsome Sears in the state of Virginia. Yeah, John Russell. Okay, yeah. Yeah, let me check that race. John Russell. It's running for mayor in Culpeper. And so I'm going to pull this up and see and check on this race for a friend of mine. Culpeper mayor Frank Reeves. Oh, it's tight, man. It's tight. But you got 3,692 early votes to count too. So, you can hold on to that. You can hold on to that as well. So, I believe that's someone asked about John Russell. Yeah. Madison just hit me back. I know, man. And my boy hit me up and said I should have came back and ran for governor. People in Virginia, people are asking me, man. I mean, to be honest, people asked me to come back to Virginia and run for governor because they knew Winsome was weak. I know I wouldn't have lost by no damn 10 points. But but I didn't, so. But yeah, I had people asking me to come back and run. Maybe I should have. But I mean, that's just terrible. And the reason is because the RNC didn't want to be called racist and run another candidate. I mean, Jason Miyares may have failed, fared better. I don't know. But they didn't have the candidate to capture really the votes needed, I guess you can say. A certain demographic of votes. But so Virginia's flipped. Virginia's flipped. The House will most likely remain blue. So far, they've picked up 2 seats. So far, the Democrats have picked up 2 seats. The Republicans have lost 2 seats so far. And in Virginia, the Democrats have flipped 2. Let's see which 2 have they flipped. I might have to go down this list. It should show it, but maybe not. Democrat. Kathy Tran was out. She's something else too. Guzman, House District 22. House District 22 got flipped by a Democrat. Ian Lovejoy lost. He got flipped in Prince William County. And let's see, Democrat. And it looks like House District 30 may get flipped. It depends. There's 2,440 votes left. That may get flipped. Because you have a Democrat winning that race so far, but it was a Republican seat. And let's see here. I don't think that's any danger. That's not any danger. I held on. I mean, they have 100 seats. I mean, so I'm going down. House District 82 got flipped. Kim Taylor lost that seat to Kimberly Adams. 2 Kims. Kimberly Adams flipped that seat in House District 82. So those are the 2 seats. It looked like it may be 3, possibly 4-man. A.C. Cardoza, he might be in trouble. A.C. Cardoza might be in trouble. He's held that seat, I think, for 2 years now, 3 years. House District 86, that's a tight race. And you still got 13,000 early votes left. Only 10 of 18 precincts reporting. So right now, AC is doing, he's holding on. He's holding on there. Jay Leftwich should be pretty good in Chesapeake. Let's go down to Norfolk, of course. Kelly Fowler's good. I think she want to end. 0 of 20 precincts are okay. So in Tim Anderson, House District 97, he's losing by about 1,000 votes, but they have 12,000 to count. Have 12,000 to count. So there you go. There you go. So yeah, John Russell is he's losing only by a small amount there. So I mean, there you have it, though. Let's see what this guy's talking about.
Coming up very, very soon. Back to you guys.
All right, very good. Grant Stinchfield down in Texas. I want to thank all of everybody we've spoken to set the table so far. We are going to take a quick break. I want to thank everybody here at the America First Warehouse. Don't go anywhere. We're not done yet. But we're going to turn it over to Steve Bannon, who's going to take you from 9 p.m. right through midnight. But Brian Glenn, I'll give you a last word here for this segment. Anything else you want to say?
I'm just happy to be here at the American First Warehouse. Thank you so much for coming out. It's my honor to be here on the stage with you guys. Love the show. Watch it every night. Just thank you so much, and God bless the USA.
Congresswoman Green.
Yeah. Oh, I share Brian's sentiment. I think you guys are great. We do watch it so many times in the evening, and it's just really fun to be here in person. Thank you.
Oh, we appreciate both of you being here. All right, let's take a break. We're not done yet. Don't go anywhere. Coverage continues. Steve Bannon will take the reins right when we come back at 9 o'clock, taking you through midnight right here, Real America's Voice. We're back right after this.
All right, I'm just going to turn down the volume here. So Bannon will be back. Steve Bannon will be back in a couple of minutes. He's going to be talking about Virginia, I'm sure. So, when Bannon comes back, I'll turn up the volume. So I know he's going to be talking about. Virginia, but like I said earlier, that's. I guess the polls close in New York City at 9 o'clock. Virginia, whose fault is it? Whose fault is it, Virginia? Who's in the chat? Let me check you guys out. Who's in the chat right now? You guys need to let me know. Whose fault? Who do you blame? Lisa, who do you blame? Who do you blame right now? As far as what happened in Virginia tonight. Put that up. Put that out there to somebody else. But whose fault is that? I put it at the feet of the RNC. Put it definitely the feet of Winsome because it was her thing. That went. She went all off the rails after she won. She got, as my mother would say, she got all grown and stuff. She got all grown, like she could do it all by herself. She got all grown and shit. So, but I tried to tell the people, and in Virginia, she's a terrible candidate, but it is what it is. It just is what it is out here, and but Virginia's gonna be in trouble, man. They got communists in control now, for real, for real in Virginia. But sad. I'm sort of bittersweet. He doesn't want to give them the light, but I agree with you. The podcasters, I'm not sure what you meant. The GOP sucks. It was the RNC definitely. The GOC first her race. Okay, so Lisa went off. Winsome, her race. The RNC definitely. The GOP sucks. Is what Lisa says. Yeah, man. It's I knew that when I ran. I'm like, you guys don't want. They really didn't want America First people, And Virginia, when I moved to Virginia, it was solid red ticket, state, house, the governorship. Just solid red, man. It was a great place to live. Great place to live. And then they Colorado'd Virginia, right? If you guys remember and understand what happened in Colorado, they have a movie or a freaking documentary about Colorado and what they did, how they went in and turned Colorado from a red state to a blue state. And then they did the same thing to Virginia. I watched it firsthand happen in Virginia. And so, I talked about it, before, how they Colorado'd Virginia, and they're trying to, they're trying to Colorado, Texas. They're trying to Colorado. They got other states already, that they're trying to, they're actually out here trying to Colorado, Idaho. Because they move in these people And they get them to, and they still stick to their, saying that they escape, but they move in, they literally move in these people to get them to change the demographic. They come to a red state and vote blue. They come to a red state and vote blue, and this is what they do. I have to remember. Someone told me what the documentary was. Somebody told me the name on the last show. I forget. I don't have. Let me see. I'm gonna try to look it up for you. Rocky Mountain Heist is the name of it. It was on the Citizens United movie hosted by Michelle Malkin. I mean, it's a few of them over here, but it's called Rocky Mountain Heist. It's on 2014. It's on IDBM. You can actually watch it. But yeah, it's called Rocky Mountain Heist. You can find that. I mean, it's the blueprint, man. It is the blueprint on so Citizens United. I'll just put this in the chat for you. But yeah. I mean, that was the blueprint on how they did it. The total blueprint, and they took it from Colorado, and they beta tested it and went to Virginia. Took Virginia, and they're trying to, like I say, do it to Texas and these other states too. Luckily, right now we have a super majority in the state house here, and we're still very, very red here in Idaho. And this is one reason why I did not go back to Virginia and run. And I mean, because I saw the writing on the wall, even though, I don't know if I would have won. I don't think I would have lost by 10 points or whatever it's going to be. With her, let's check out the Bannon show.
They didn't have to. It could be 19 minutes after 7 o'clock Eastern time. And with the other states' performances to really start their 2026 comeback. And we've talked about here how the federal government shutdown likely was a factor. If you give 35 days off to people, which the Democrats did on purpose for the ACA and, quite frankly, what we're seeing tonight, that gives time to people to vote, to show up. Let me just give you a couple numbers here. Steve, I know you mentioned them, but Spanberger won 77% of early by mail votes. That's what we were talking about. 58 of early in-person votes, 58%, and 53% of the votes on election day. Now, this is not atypical for Republicans. Mark, I'm sure you can tee off on this. It's historically been, possibly will change as the younger age group gets older, right, with in-person versus mail-in voting. But if the Democrat is winning by 53% on the day of in-person voting, that tells you all you need to know. And you're exactly right. Imagine if Abigail Spanberger had said anything in that debate about Jay Jones, which she should have, because fantasizing about shooting children and your opponent should be a non-factor, and he actually got a large turnout of female votes, which is shocking. If she had said one thing, that's a 1% difference.
Hang over 1 second, Britt. Decision desks, which is pretty good, they've called the races tonight, and they're normally pretty conservative, have just called the New York City race for Mondani, and that is at
they just closed
6 minutes after polls close. 6 minutes after polls close.
They just closed.
Britt, has Winston Sears come out and addressed her crowd yet? Her audience? Has she conceded? Has she officially conceded?
She has not. I was told about 30, 40 minutes ago that they were going to come out with a run of show, nodded that she was here. The room filled up. There's definitely a larger crowd, but it's all for a concession speech. And you just have to look at this nationally, too, for Virginia, New Jersey, California, and be a little concerned and also a little disappointed, right, Mark, at Republican candidates and the lack of campaigning that happened in Virginia. I'll say this. We live here. Spanberger's campaign was louder. What do you have to add to that?
Well, and Winsome Sears, she is the most unrelatable candidate tonight for MAGA. Why would MAGA turn out for a candidate who would not embrace Donald
MAGA
Trump, who built the greatest coalition victory in 2024 in American history, Steve? And a great irony here is Britt and I are standing in Loudoun County, Virginia, the ground zero for the parents' rights movements. And yet Winsome Sears, who put transgenderism and parents' rights as her #1 issue, she got destroyed in this county and dragged down Jason Miyares here as well. It's a tremendous irony. But let me just tell you, building a coalition like Donald Trump did, and like you and the posse did, and the War Room a year ago, that's the way to win elections, not by holding Donald Trump at arm's length distance like Winsome Sears did, because all those rural counties across Virginia that you know so well, we didn't get the turnout we needed by far.
No, it's sicker than that. Youngkin used her as the attack dog against Trump. And that whole DeSantis kind of madness in 21 and 22 when they thought Trump was going to be gone, she was the attack dog, and then they put her up to this.
Told you they used her.
You may not recover from this in the Republican Party in the Commonwealth of Virginia for a generation. That's how bad this is.
I told you they
awful.
used her.
Guys, you stick around. We're going to come back to you. Let us know if she gives a concession speech. I would love to hear that one. Let's go to New Jersey. Mike Crispy.
Used her. Action strategies.
It was 13 minutes. The race was called by decision decks 13 minutes after the polls closed. And I do believe that Cliff Maloney may be right. You may, I think, a third of the vote in, it's already 1 million votes. You may get to 3 million votes tonight. What happened?
Well, Steve, there was a record high turnout in the urban communities. This was the highest turnout in the urban communities and inner cities of New Jersey since 1997. The Democrats ran a turnout operation in the inner city that the Republicans clearly were not prepared for. And in Republican strongholds, Ocean County, South Jersey, there seems to have been a suppression going on. You and I have talked about it, the fact that there was some of the Christie people that wanted this thing to go the Democrats' way. They didn't like Chitterelli. There was a little bit of a turf war, civil war going on. So I think there was suppressed vote in South Jersey. Couldn't get the vote out there. And then obviously the most important factor here is that the consultants of Jack Chitterelli were never MAGA and never let him fully connect with President Trump. You know, Steve, President Trump had a rally in New Jersey that had 100,000 people at the Jersey Shore. I wanted him to come back for a rally. We didn't see him do that. He got the endorsement from Trump. Trump was posting on Truth Social about him and doing tele-rallies, but I do believe there were elements in the campaign that were not wanting the president to come here, but the president did way better than any candidate on the Republican side in the modern era of New Jersey. That just proves that MAGA is the future in this state.
No, Crispy, we closed, you know, we're trying to make the case that New Jersey is the new Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania is the new Ohio. How do we close so much and they not, how do the consultants not reach out to President Trump's team and have President Trump as an integral part of this campaign, sir?
You know, these consultants, I don't know how they stay in business, Steve. You have these people who have been running this party into the ground because they charge campaigns and candidates millions of dollars, and what do they get for it? They get the strategy to avoid Trump. We got to get these consultants out of the party. We need to have unabashed MAGA for the future going forward. President Trump made an 11-point gain in the state. It's such a shame to see it squandered. And I'm telling you, if anybody wants to win in the future, it's from Virginia here to New Jersey. You got to get these bad, rotten consultants out of the game. Trump coming back to New Jersey. I was on the ground all year long campaigning in this race to try to get a Republican elected after President Trump endorsed Jack. They all wanted Trump to come back here. They all wanted him to repeat the magic. We would have seen, I think, higher turnout in those South Jersey rural areas if Trump came back. Trump got 2 million votes here. Jack is not going to get anywhere close to 2 million votes that Trump got just a year ago in 2024.
Unbelievable. Mike, you hang around too. We're going to come back there, particularly if Jack comes up to the microphone. I've got, we have John Solomon. John Solomon at the Real America's Voice news desk, anchor desk in Washington, D.C. Okay, hey, John Solomon. So far, give me your poor Jason in the Commonwealth of Virginia.
Yeah.
The brother runs 10 points ahead of the gubernatorial candidate that had the ticket, and he's still going to lose. Put it in perspective so far, Solomon.
I'm going to answer your question,
Paris, then we're going to go to New York.
Well, first, let's keep in mind these are all blue areas, and if Republicans are going to win in blue areas, they had to take the lessons of 2024 and apply them to these states at this moment. And they did none of that. I started warning about this in April after the Wisconsin Supreme Court race, because all the things that Donald Trump and the Republicans did in 2024, they weren't doing in 2025. They didn't get out the early vote like the operation that Lee Zeldin did with AFW and Bernie Marcus's money and got 3 million people who hadn't voted in a decade out early in the bank. They didn't do that. And until you change the laws, you got to win the early vote. The Democrats swamped that. The Democrats got their day of vote out in urban areas like Newark, and we didn't. That's one of the rules that we failed. The second rule we failed is you don't run from MAGA. And both of our both of the Republican nominees for governor ran from Donald Trump. They tried to hide their alliances with Donald Trump. The one guy tonight who leaned into Donald Trump and MAGA, Jason Myers, outperforms everybody else on the ticket statewide. What does that tell you? You don't run from the thing that got you there, that built the base of the movement, that energized the party. If Donald Trump had come into New Jersey the last month, he would have beaten down Mikey Sherrill on her earlier cheating scandal with the Navy. He would have beaten her down on so many of the other issues. Abigail Spanberger wouldn't have had the cakewalk because we would have been talking every day about the Saudi complex where she worked right after 9/11 with a group of people that were aligned with terrorists. The candidates didn't bang it. The third failure that the Republicans made, they didn't learn. They had a really bad candidate, particularly in Virginia. Nobody thought Winston Sears could win, but we did next woman up instead of the best candidate. Jason Myers would have performed way better at the top of the ticket. Instead, we pigeonholed him down into the Attorney General's race. Then I think the final thing is that Donald Trump won because the MAGA agenda spoke to people whose problems were at the dinner table, on the budget, making ends meet, and they completely forgot about that. We've talked about everything. We want to talk about Nick Fuentes. We want to talk about a peace in Israel, but you know what? That doesn't buy the next dinner at the table. It doesn't make you make ends between paychecks. Republicans abandoned economic populism. And you and I have talked about this since April. You could see this disaster happening, and tonight we had it. Now, these were blue states. They were going to stay blue unless the Republicans played a better playbook. They went back to the stupid playbooks of the last decade, and that's why they lost tonight. It's not hard to figure this out, but in 2026, we just made it harder for Republicans to win because they'll be redistricting things. Only the Justice Department can maybe block some of this redistricting with a win at the Supreme Court in the Louisiana case. But Republicans have to wake up tomorrow morning and say, we got to go back to the strategy of 2024. We won with that, and we fell asleep on it this year. We didn't do any of the things that got us the win in 24. That's the lesson of tonight. It's not any more complex than that.
Okay, so I think those are the big
America
races. I
healthy
think I'm going to
again,
call
the
it.
MAGA
I'm
movement
going to call it
merging
lid.
together to get at the ballot chasing. Tyler Boyer just put it.
I'm going to call a lid on this. Everything's in. All the important stuff is in. The Virginia results are in. They called the mayor's race in New York City 6 minutes after the 6 minutes after the closure of the polls. That's embarrassing. Hey, but it is what it is, though, right? But we told you guys. You have to run to the RNC. To the RNC, you have to run candidates that can win races. You have to run candidates that resonate with the people. You have to run candidates that's not only America first, but America only. And that's going to be my mantra. You know? I mean, when you have Democrats, when you have these communists promising everything to them, you have to come back with somebody that can resonate with the people and tell them, no, they're lying. They're like the Republican Party cannot, because President Trump don't care about being called a racist, right? You cannot shy away from it. You cannot shy away from possibly being called a racist or an anti-Semite or whatever you think you might want to be called. You have to run candidates with some balls. You have to run candidates that can call a spade and not worry about what they're going to be called later. I told you guys from the beginning, Winsome Sears, you can go back and look at all my posts on Winsome Sears was a weak candidate. And I told people that. She's the weakest candidate that you could have run. Gonna get smoked. But anyway, everyone that tuned in, thank you for coming in tonight. And I appreciate it. And I mean, this is what happens, when you run people. I'm gonna play this, and this is I know this is the way it's feeling in Virginia tonight, but I'm gonna check you guys out later, man. Hey, I think I'll be back on Sunday. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, regular time. I think I'm gonna make my comeback because we're gonna talk about this stuff. So I appreciate y'all. Y'all take care. And sad day in Virginia. But I'll check you guys out on Sunday. Peace.
Vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sound of silence. In restless dreams I walked alone, narrow streets of cobblestone, neath the halo of a street lamp. I turned my collar to the cold and damp. When my eyes were stabbed by the flash of a neon light that split the night and touch the sound of silence. And in the naked light I saw 10,000 people, maybe more. People talking without speaking. People hearing without listening. People writing songs and voices never shared, and no one dared disturb the sound of silence. Fool said I, you do not know. Silence like a cancer grows.